Okay, it's recording. First of all, hello everybody. It is I, once again, Gigi the Furry. And I have something disturbing to talk about. It's regarding a special orange cat we all know as Garfield. Unfortunate, fortunate for me, because I realized something. Mm, Garfield might actually be an abyssal god, which terrifies me to my core and not very much scares me. I literally play with spirit boxes. Is I have taken trips down cemeteries. I have taken I I do a lot of, I guess, relatively morbid stuff, but it is the fact that Garfield is going to be a forgotten memory. And I kind of got into this entire thing because I recently contracted the Garfield curse. Because I mentioned especially here on YouTube, that just means that you have it now too. And I am 100% serious. I contracted the Garfield curse. It, I almost want to cry. But there's no way to basically explain the Garfield's curse. Here's all I know is now that I've mentioned its name, it's going to be after you. Like, look at your YouTube recommendations. Look at your not only your YouTube recommendations. Go through TikTok. Go through basically every form of social media you have. You're going to at least see something involving Garfield, whether it's the r/dementia Garfield dementia subreddit. There's the word. r/dementia Garfield subreddit, where they repost the same comic strip and act like it's their first time seeing it, and it's the most hilarious thing they've ever seen. All the way up to "I'm sorry, John." And if you have any questions, I'll try to link them below. But this is the only way I can save myself. I'm sorry to throw my viewers, for the five of you probably even still watching up to this point, completely under the bus. But yeah, the Garfield curse goes as follow. You've seen his fur and his pattern. You see him in the corners of your mind. You do not remember, but he is there. He's always been there, and now you have two options: accept Garfield or spread his curse, with it leaving you, but influencing more throughout the generations. I am not kidding. Like, I know this may sound completely idiotic, completely. I don't even know any synonyms to besides idiotic. Oh my god, this. I may look like I'm like shooting an apology video right now, but this video is going to be uploaded to YouTube with almost zero to little editing. And if there is a jump cut, it's probably because I said something I do not wish to disclose on YouTube, for my safety, other safety, and of the sort. Beside the point, though. Hmm. Beside the point, though, here's a perfect example of the Garfield curse. Even I will give my own explanation to it. Do you remember owning any Garfield merch? Whether it be a T-shirt, some sort of wacky product, or a plushie? I swear to God that I was thinking about this at work. Like, I got off of work last night, like normal, But I then saw a video who getting into the deep dive of Garfield, which yeah, I watch a lot of analog horror stuff on YouTube. Mm, I took a break for a while, but then I saw Garfield and I'm Sorry John, which got me into the rabbit hole again. And it terrifies me to know that Garfield lives in the shadows, in the corners of our minds, the probably things we would probably prefer to forget, but unfortunately for me, he, Garfield, this strange orange cat who's surprisingly relatable, who lives in a corner of my brain I didn't even know existed. As in, I owned a Garfield plush. Like, even now, I own a bunch of plushes. You can see them behind me clearly. Yeah, yeah. Because I love analog horror. Even this pendant on top of this murder bear right here. Here is a prop. Uh, God, what was it? Dr. Bright. This is supposed to be Dr. Bright's pendant. If you touch it, you essentially you die, but Dr. Bright's consciousness inhabits your body now. Mm. That's why I bought it, and that's why I placed it on top of Murder Bear because all the funny rules. I am I am derailing and detracking Garfield. What I what I remember extremely vividly after watching that video, and the one I will try to link the original. It's an hour long, so if you have some time to kill, mm, it gets into the psychological hold that Garfield has on people. But at the end, this was all true, and I want to believe that it was scripted or something. But at the end or closer in the middle, I don't remember when, off the top of my head. He he doesn't remember owning a Garfield plushie, basically the size of a Chucky doll, or like a small toddler size, and he didn't remember it until he saw the picture, and he was diving into "I'm Sorry, John," and going on this absolute rant. We can barely afford that. I use humor to cope with the surprising nature of my own life. Beside the point, though, fuck. Uh, yeah, like I was saying, I am the type of person who would dive headfirst into the anomalous. That's why I knew Dr. Bright's name off the top of my head. Well, kinda. It took me a minute to remember. I can't stop thinking about that strange orange cat. And I'm not sure who remembers this, but Garfield actually had like a, a TV series on Cartoon Network. Well, for me, because I live in the US. Beside the point, though. Oh, I remember watching Garfield on TV, but it rested in the shadows of my mind. Like I almost forgot about it until I watched this YouTube video. Like I said, link in the description. Watch it for yourself. It was called The Garfield Show. And I am surprised that I forgot about it until now. I would put it almost close to the top of my cartoon all stars. My all stars being Ben 10, SpongeBob, all the classics that early 2000s grew up with. It, um, Definitely not Secret Mountain Fort Awesome. It's that was just a weird show, but yet again I'm ranting because I want to stay away from, I guess, the truth. Look, listen. I'm gonna move back over here because I don't want to show too much of my room. I'm, like I said, I'm derailing because I don't want to say that Garfield. actually may be an anomalous force. The camera's crooked the entire time. Again, I'm using minor distractions to cope with the fact that I had a Garfield plushie that I completely forgot about. And it was such not a big part of my childhood, but at the same time, I know for 100% fact sure that I had a Garfield plushie that I completely forgot about. And I love my plushies to the point where or you don't even see it, but I have a rainbow stitch because Stitchy and rainbows, my two favorite things in the world. But and I remember my first ever plush was a lion, and I named it Leo because the zodiac. And I was around 4 or 5 years old at the time. Hmm. And I remember how I lost him too, and I just hope that he's still in circulation, probably still making some kid happy. Hmm. I lost him because I took him to like a Walmart when it was cool back in the day, and it had like this claw machine. So I put Leo next to the claw machine, hmm, and kind of forgot about him because I was a dumb kid. My mom called me or something. I don't know. All I know is when I returned to the Walmart, heard I checked with the lost and founds department. Nobody saw it. So all I can hope is that poor Leo is still somewhere out there. Oh, and Stitchy's in my lap, by the way. I just hope that Leo is somewhere still out there. Beside the point, though, what the one plush I do not remember having was a Garfield plush. But now, after watching that video, I remember vividly. I remember like punching its eyes because it was made out. Its eyes was made out of tough plastic and it was big green cartoony eyes. Hmm, I don't know why they were green in my memory. Maybe I'm misremembering like a Mandela effect. Beside the point, it lives in the shadows of my brain. Like I remember taking it to like a carnival, Kings Island specifically. He and I don't remember what happened after it. Like I remember bringing it home because I probably won more carnival games and had all the plushes like all into one place. So I was a strategic 11, 10-year old. I remember this vividly because I watched that video. It's an hour long. It's mostly a guy going on a rant about Garfield and how it started off as a comic strip. It literally 2 generations before I was even born. And it somehow evolved into an abyssal god to the point where I think our subconscious hive mind hmm, actually formed like a kind of a cult with it. I don't want to call it a cult because unfortunately I unwittingly or unwillingly joined the cult. I'll probably be the first to be sacrificed. I mean, just look at my skin. Beside the point again, it is almost terrifying that I had a relatable moment with this guy going on a rant about a funny orange cartoon cat. And then I remembered, oh yeah, it used to be a TV show, A Tale of Two Cats, Garfield, the movie, the the comic strip, and then the weird subreddits that go along with it. Like I said, all this is one take. You haven't, I don't think you've seen the jump cut yet, but I am genuinely terrified. Not for my life or anything, like heavens no, but I am essentially terrified that I forgot. I don't remember too much of Garfield, but at the same time, I know he had a bigger impact in my life. I remember I'm starting to get slight memories of A Tale of Two Cats. I remember that the premise of the movie was was an identical cat to Garfield, who was always pampered for its entire life, was getting sick of the pampered life because it felt like everything was hand and foot with him. So he swapped lives with Garfield, which Garfield missed John, and so they tried to switch back. Another thing about the movie is how come Garfield was CGI but not Odie? Like I said, I'm getting easily distracted because I feel like I'm going through the same rabbit hole, which we all subconsciously know is some sort of trap. And I think I'm getting legit terrified. Like I said, I play with spirit boxes. I casually walk through cemeteries and morgues and all the like. I I dive head first into the paranormal. There's the word. I dive headfirst into the paranormal. That's how I found the SCP Foundation. That's how I got my earliest memories of Slender Man and Jeff the Killer, Jade the Killer, or the creepy dog. I forget what its name is. I dive headfirst into anything creepy because that's just was me as a kid. And it kind of stuck, but it's getting even more terrifying the more I think and about the entirety and concept of Garfield, a cute orange cartoon cat that some for some reason somehow became an abyssal god. And I legit as a kid thought that the SCP Foundation could be real. I knew that it was a fictional universe. Well, now because I'm older and wiser and more, mentally stable, but something about Garfield is now putting me on edge. Oh, and the beginning of the video was a disclaimer. I didn't even think about saying that until now because I'm more focused on Garfield and trying to distract my mind and spreading, I don't want to say the curse, but I think it is. You have heard his name. You have, I'm sorry. You've heard his name. You got an image of him in your mind. He is going to be forever burnt in your history, he, and he will burn your future. If you don't wish to be burnt, spread the influence of Garfield. I am legit terrified. I do have to upload this video though, in order to, I guess, combat it for as long as that can help me. To everyone involved in this video, I am sorry, but survival of the lasagna loving, survival of the lasagna loving, Monday hating, Garfield wood worshipping deity. I'm sorry. Please spread it if you wish to break it.